Hey guys, welcome back to Human Resource. We're doing episode 2 to 4.
Yep.
Listen, we're going to start with open hearts, open minds, can't lose.
Side notes, we just found out that whenever you say, please subscribe to our channel, the subscribe button lights up. Does it lit up, guys?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Probably when you press it, it's going to lit up.
We are going to start off with Ben and Sarah's relationship.
Exactly.
Now, I'm going to say this over here. Ben looks like a good American. Come from a good cloth. This
Yes.
guy's a 27-year-old developer, devout Christian,
Yes.
goes to church weekly.
Every Sunday.
Great health, great eating habits.
Not bad looking.
Can't go wrong. Would you recommend it to a friend?
Absolutely.
I would. 100% I would.
Absolutely.
Along comes Sarah, 28-year-old nurse. It's a tough field. And I think she's a great woman too. She admits earlier on that she has a bit of a food issue.
Like everybody else. Hello.
Yeah. Chocolate.
Yes.
What's yours? Now the problem is they clash very early on and about religion. She says that she is not religious anymore, even though she grew up Catholic.
Yeah, she was raised Catholic.
Raised Catholic. He says, listen, I'm a devout Christian. I do my Bible studies. I show up every Sunday. It's a good day for me. And she was like, well, I have some issues with the community. Why? Because my best friend is my sister and she's gay. And the church are not so welcoming to the LGBTQ plus community. So he was like, okay. And she goes, and they breed hypocrisy because they're all about love thy neighbor. What happened if your neighbor's gay?
Okay.
And she accused the priest for SA allegations.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a
you
lot.
can't judge a whole religion based off a few bad apples. Like, no, I'm not
Exactly.
gonna. I feel like Ben is not a confrontational.
Yes.
Like, he doesn't like to get involved. He was like, yeah, okay. Well, I don't have any problem with the gay community. She goes, oh, you don't? Would you like to come to Pride with me and my sister? And he was like, would you like to come to church with me? So it was like, so they both were like, in my mind, I'm like, they're not gonna work out.
Yeah, like
I think when it comes with relationships,
I'm so flabbergasted about
the
that part.
foundations have to land. And so far, it's not landing. But let's just see if they're gonna find something else to hold on to.
So after that, we're in the women's quarters where we have Molly, super happy, super thrilled about her number one, and she confesses her number one to Lauren that it's Dave. Okay.
And Lauren was like,
Ooh, she becomes super insecure. That's for sure. And now my thing is, Lauren, while Molly is letting you know who's her number one, why you didn't say the same thing? Like, why you didn't tell her who's your number one?
she never asked me.
Is that where we are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Rules for thee and not for me. Either way, she takes that information and she confronts Dave on her date. And she tells him, I know who you're talking to. I know you're getting serious with another person. And he was like, aren't we all doing that?
It's like she's marking her territory.
Yeah. And he switches up the conversation. He goes, let's talk about sex and playlist. Who's on your playlist? And she goes, Cat Stevens is on my playlist.
Sweetheart, you mean Yusuf Islam?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
He
Interesting
became
choice.
Muslim and he left the industry.
She's like, but he got some bangers. That's what it is.
Oh, well, I can clearly, honestly, guys, I feel like she doesn't have a playlist. Like, Lauren, I know what kind of chick you are. Like, stop trying to be something you are not.
She's predictable. That's what you're saying.
She's predictable. Stop being something you are not. You know, you're not that kind of girl. You're
Yeah,
not.
you don't listen to Cat Stevens. You know what I mean?
No, you don't even have a playlist. Then he was like, you're just like my sister. I feel like you guys have a lot in common.
Whoa.
That's a crazy read. And
I'll be pissed.
And she was like, yeah, like me and your sister are going to open up a bookstore. I'm like, that's Lauren. Opening up a bookstore is Lauren.
Yeah.
Okay?
That makes sense.
And then he was like selling some beers and stuff like that. And she goes,
In a bookstore?
so now we get into the couple, Alex and Madison. Guys, if you watch our previous episode, you know we have our eyes locked on Madison. She basically walks in and says, let's speed it up. We have a couple of more days left and I don't have a partner yet.
I'm trying to get married.
They're like, let's talk about problems, all right? How do you deal with issues? And she said, oh, I'm an avoidant. And then he's like, so how do you deal with anger? She goes, oh, I physically can't yell. I can't. I'm like,
Okay.
so you throw hands? Like,
Oh, okay.
what do you do
Okay.
to substitute that?
Boxer here. Okay.
It was so weird.
I think she probably leaves. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And after she doesn't address it, she doesn't have a mature conversation about the issue. And after she just leaves, we don't know how long she's gone.
Yeah.
So
And she mentions that I come from a religious background. Even though you said your parents conceived you out of wedlock. And then she says,
and they have substance abuse.
yeah. And then she even mentions there's a lot of judgment in the religious community about sex before marriage. She said she doesn't like that. And she's doing her work to combat the stigma behind that.
Now, my question is your parents religious or you learn about the religion in school?
But then again, she said, I had sex at 22 because I'm doing the work to combat the shame.
I don't understand that
behind
part.
marriage,
Like, what
behind
kind
sex
of work?
before marriage.
Okay, what work is that? Like, are you having a lot of it? Like, I'm so confused. Madison, please. There's a lot of contradiction in your whole story. I like her, though. After that moment, you guys, you could see it in Alex's eyes that he started disassociating himself, okay?
Because he's having flashbacks.
He's having flashbacks, okay? And you could clearly see this guy has been wounded from his previous relationship. I don't know what happened in his previous relationship, but she definitely did a number on him. Because this guy is realizing, this girl has a lot of problems that I can't deal with.
Yeah. And not only that, look at Madison's approach. She approaches Alex different than how she approached Mason.
Yes.
With Alex, she gives him this whole sob story syndrome, emotional fishing, petty seeking behavior, sympathy baiting, all that stuff with Alex. But with Mason, she's like sweet and candy.
I have the right word.
Hi, how are you doing?
You know what I realized? She is a pixie dream girl. That's what it is.
Oh, I thought she was a Harley Quinn.
Well, I haven't seen her scream because, physically she can't scream or yell. But she's giving me pixie dream girl. That's what it is.
Okay.
So after that, we have our first proposal between Joey and Monica.
Not from Friends.
Not for Friends, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So it's wonderful. To be honest, I feel like they're super boring.
Yeah, their story's underdeveloped. But give it a second. I've seen the trailers, okay?
So we're in episode 3, Hunger Games of Love, and we're going to start with Devon and Britney. Now, so far, their relationship seems really good. Okay, they're very compatible, especially in the men's side. They said to Devon, yo, your match is definitely Britney. Like, you guys are meant for each other. That's what it is.
I feel like Britney is demonstrating something called forced positivity. It's when somebody acts overly upbeat in order to mask real emotions. I'm sensing
Now,
that.
do you think she is nervous?
No, not by now.
don't think so?
If this guy that you're talking to, apparently everybody's saying you guys are match made in heaven, shouldn't you kind of calm down a bit? I don't know. I'm sensing that. So maybe something's gonna come up in the next episode. But he says this, which is interesting. He was like, I feel like Virginia's hiding something.
Now, why would he say that? Listen, I have a little bone to pick with Devon. Stop demanding these women to tell you their little secrets, okay? Like, let it happen naturally.
But I only got literally 1 minute before I engage somebody. I need to know everything right now. What do you mean? Anyways, I think what he's doing is...
Well, build that trust then. I'm sorry. Build that trust.
I feel like he's projecting.
Yeah.
The fact that you're assuming somebody's hiding something is probably a reflection of you. Like, are you hiding something? That's what I'm sensing. Because it's so random when you roll up to somebody, hi, how are you doing? I feel like you're hiding something. Why would you say that?
Why would you say that? Exactly.
So we get into Alex and Madison. Again, now I feel like there's some character development going on. She still continues this whole sad story, and this is my personality trait.
Yeah.
And she goes, sometimes I go into autopilot mode. At this point, I'm thinking, Alex is here to pick up a wife, not a patient.
Yeah.
All right? And she even told him, I feel like you have the natural inclination of being fearful.
Of what? Of crazy? I'm sorry.
Given the past couple of days listening to you, yeah, I'm afraid. Okay, you're giving me
Yeah.
Harley Quinn, And he said, no, listen, I'm not afraid of like helping somebody with their issues, but first I need to assess if I can handle it or not.
Listen, I understand sharing what you went through, but you are just dumping everything. You know what I mean?
But I thought relationship is built on trust.
Yeah, of course. Okay, of course. But
Not
sometimes,
yet.
Yeah,
Not yet.
yeah, it's just...
Now, unsatisfied with her conversation with Alex, she goes ahead and speaks with Mason. And she tries her same methodology that she usually doesn't try on Mason, only on Alex. She does it on Mason.
Yes.
Okay? And she says, listen, this is how I am. This is my psychological traits and everything. And then she says, let's talk about you in relationships. And he goes, well, people tend to leave me in relationships. And she gets a little bit scared. She goes, wait a minute. Why do you think
That's
is so?
a huge red flag. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because
all your relationships, everybody's leaving you?
honestly, that was my favorite part when he threw the same emotional games back at her.
Yeah.
And she was like, wait a minute. Now you're imposing a threat on me. Like, what do you mean people leave you?
Yeah. It is a huge
It's a red flag.
My thing is why people are leaving you in your relationship. You're doing something. That's the thing. You're doing something in the relationship.
He literally said
that you're probably disconnecting. You're probably not being transparent. You're not being real. And after they leave.
He said the reason why is because the girls fall in love with somebody else, and that's why they
Why
leave me.
is that? Why they're falling in love with
don't
somebody
know.
else?
Anyways, with Madison, she was like, okay, well, my turn. I leave them because I respect myself. It's cute. It's like, Madison.
You know what?
I'm like acting like Devon with her. There's something going on.
I'm gonna give it to Madison. She knows how to talk. Okay, she knows how to use her words. She's very intelligent.
Like who to talk to about what. She knows that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what was killing me too? Mason's vocal fry the whole time.
We knew right away, like, there's something here, right? And I really think feelings
So we're in episode 4, and the title is called So Your Girlfriend Has a Boyfriend.
Now we get into Ben
Interesting.
and Sarah, and they go through another speed bump. See, Ben tells her, I think I'm falling in love with you. And she was like, slow down, Casanova. Let's talk about politics because you're lacking depth at this point. And she's willing to investigate.
Yeah.
And she was like, I got involved right after George Floyd and Trump. And he was like, yeah, I didn't vote it. She's like, okay.
Ben, you're giving that you have voted, but okay.
Anyways, she literally was telling him, listen, I love the transparency. I love your honesty. But like George Floyd happened in Minneapolis. Hello? And it was like, yeah, I just don't like getting involved. Sorry. Now we got a problem because she makes it clear to him, I understand the nitty, the gritty of politics, but behind politics, there is human rights, there is justice. There's so many things incorporated in politics, okay?
Yeah.
So you get involved with those things. Do our morals match with each other? Those are very important conversations. And the whole time he was like, yeah. I swear if I was her, I would have asked him, Ben, if they were closing your local Costco, what would you do? I would protest.
Yeah, you go to the mayor's office demanding that they will fix this problem.
Yeah.
Listen, probably he advocates for other things, especially in his community. So,
Either way, I feel like, yes, when you're getting with somebody, marrying with somebody, few things need to align. Like human rights, justice, advocacy for, like, let's say, less fortunate. Those things, come on.
So after that, we have Madison and Mason, and he said to her, I was thinking about what we talked about, and I want to make it clear that you're the person I'm thinking about. And she said, okay, you're being very elusive at this point, okay? And he said, okay, let me make it clear. You're the person that I want to commit to.
Did I give you an ultimatum or anything?
And he said, no, not at all.
Thanks.
And she's like, well, I like what I'm hearing. And he's like, I appreciate that. After that, he ran to Meg, and he said to her, you know what? I really like our connection. We're very similar. And she says, okay, let's make things serious. What is love to you?
A big bowl of ice cream.
Chuckle and a half. She said, all jokes aside, if you develop strong connection with someone else, give me the courtesy by letting me know instead of ghosting me. I think this is a great example of why women leave him. He's never direct, he's never transparent, and he's never clear.
Now we get into our last couple, Devon and Britney, and she tells him, I've dated women before. And he was like, so are you still interested in women? And she was like, people are beautiful. And he was like, so are you still attracted to women? Let me tell you something. I'm monogamous in my relationships.
But that wasn't the question.
That wasn't the question.
That wasn't the question, Brittany. You know, and she became a little bit defensive.
I felt like she was not giving him the answer he wanted to hear. And when I mentioned earlier in the video, I said this whole forced positivity, this upbeat personality of her masking real emotions, I feel like this is what we're seeing right now.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's talk about this stuff. He has the rights completely to think about it because he admitted, he said, I've never been with somebody who's been with the same sex. That's 100% a fair response.
And I'm pretty sure it was her last relationship.
Was it?
Yes. And I want to be clear, Brittany has the right to find somebody who's going to accept her for everything.
Yeah. Now, Devon feeling like he found Brittany's little secret, he took that same energy over to Virginia and he was like, okay, girl, now,
Devon's
what's your
too much.
secret? I think you have a secret. And she honestly was like, I honestly don't know what's wrong with me. Like, I don't have any problem. She even tried to, like, say that I come from a family that gaslights me a lot. I'm like, that's our family,
That's
too.
family. That's family.
We get
That's a
gaslit-
rite of passage. Come on.
Either way, I also feel like Virginia is a very intelligent woman who has her head straight. Do you have something you want to share, Devon?
And on that cliffhanger, we have episode 5 and 6 coming up. So you guys like and subscribe to this channel, and bye now.